welcome back. Today I'm really excited to share this recipe with you because we are making peanut butter cup cookies. So this is really a spin on the original peanut butter cookie. So the spin that we're going to be using is we're going to be adding these miniature Reese's cups here that I have in my hand. So I'm really excited to share this recipe with you today. I think you're really going to enjoy it, and it's really yummy as well. So you may or may not be able to see everything that I have in front of me today because there's a lot of ingredients here. So I'm just gonna quickly run through what you're gonna need for this recipe, and then you can go and grab it, and then we'll get started. So what you're gonna need is you're gonna need flour, you're gonna need butter, brown sugar, regular white sugar, you're gonna need 1 egg, you're gonna need baking soda, salt, you're gonna need peanut butter, and then you're gonna need vanilla extract. And then you are also going to need these Reese's miniature peanut butter cups. So they are like the miniature version, they're about that big. And so it's really important that you get those because that's what makes the recipe super exciting. And then what you may or may not have already is you're actually gonna need a miniature muffin tin. So they look like this. So they're basically like a quarter of the size of a regular muffin tin. You are gonna need this for these cookies. So go ahead and grab those things, and then we're gonna get started. So the first thing I need you to do is preheat your oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. Mine is preheating as we speak. So go ahead and preheat your oven to 375. And then what you're also gonna need to do is wash your hands. Please go and do that. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna grab some Pam, and we are just going to spray our tins here so our cookies do not stick to our tins. So I'm gonna go ahead and spray those. I'm only gonna start by spraying 2 of them, like that. Okay, so let's get started. So the first thing we're gonna do is in a small bowl, we are going to whisk together our flour, baking soda, and salt. So we need 1 1/4 cups of flour for this recipe. 1 1/4 cups. So I've got my 1 cup measuring cup here, and using a spoon, I'm gonna scoop my flour into my cup here. And remember, I do this to prevent any air bubbles from forming inside. And I'm just going to level that off with a knife. I need a tiny bit more in there. So there's 1 cup. And then I'm gonna go ahead and grab my 1/4 cup and do the same thing. Oops, there we go. So as always, pause the video if I'm going a bit too fast. Level it off with the back of your knife. So that's 1 1/4 cups of flour. Okay. I'm just gonna put that aside. Okay, so now we need to get our baking soda. And for this recipe, we need 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab my measuring spoons here, 1/2 teaspoon. So I'm just gonna go in here. I'm gonna actually use the top of this box here to level it off as best as I can. Like so. And I'm actually gonna go in and use my knife just a tiny bit here because I don't think it got all of it. There we go. So 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda is going in my bowl. And then we need salt. So So we need also half a teaspoon of salt. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab my salt. And again, I'm going to level it off with my knife. It's really important that you do that with baking soda or salt because you don't want too much of those ingredients in. Okay, so now we have our flour, baking soda, and salt in this bowl here. And we're just going to whisk it together. You can use a wooden spoon, that's perfectly fine. I'm just using a whisk for personal preference. My oven just preheated to 375. Okay, so now that I've whisked these ingredients together, I'm actually going to put this aside. And what I need you to do is I need you to grab your mixing beaters here, just like this. So go ahead and grab those because you are gonna need them for the next part of this recipe. I'm just plugging mine in now. Okay, so go ahead and grab those. And then you're also going to need a large bowl, one that's clean, so a different bowl than we were using for our flour. Okay, so once you have those, we are going to combine our butter, peanut butter, our sugars, and our vanilla in here. And then after that, we're gonna add our egg. So a couple important things here. Your butter, we're gonna need a 1/3 cup of butter and it needs to be softened. So ideally you would leave it out on your counter for about an hour before using it. So try and use your softened butter if possible. So we're gonna go ahead and put a 1/3 cup of butter into our bowl here. And then we're gonna grab our peanut butter. We need 3/4 cups of peanut butter. So you are going to need a spatula. I'm just gonna wipe down my 1/4 cup here. So you are probably going to need a spatula for this. So I would go ahead and grab one. So we're gonna be using 3 of these, 3/4. So I'm just gonna scoop in my peanut butter and just kind of get it as level as you can. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then using your spatula, you're just going to get it all out of the bowl here. Sorry, out of your measuring cup here. Okay, so there's about 1/4. Here's my 2/4. It's okay if you have a tiny bit more. There's my 2/4, and now I'm doing my last 1/4 cup. Okay. Awesome. So I'm just gonna put this aside. And I'm gonna use my spatula to get all the peanut butter out. So we've got lots of peanut butter in here. So these are going to be peanut buttery cookies for sure. So try and get all that peanut butter out if you can. Okay, so I am going to need this this spatula in a bit, so I'm actually just gonna put it aside where I can use it again. And I'm gonna get my peanut butter and put that aside as well. Okay, so we have our butter and our peanut butter combined in this bowl. So before we add any of the other ingredients, we're gonna beat these together And then we're gonna add our sugars, vanilla, and egg. Perfect. So I'm only going to do that for about 30 seconds just to kind of reduce the mess. Okay, so now we are going to add both of our sugars. So for our brown sugar, we need half a cup of brown sugar. So I'm just going to scoop my half cup in there like that. And then using a spoon, I'm going to press down on the top to make sure it's nice and compact. Okay, so there's half a cup of brown sugar. There's my dog, as you can hear her. Okay, and then we are going to, for our white sugar, we need, I'm just gonna look at my recipe here. We need a 1/4 cup. So because all of these ingredients are going in the same bowl, I'm just going to scoop my white sugar into my 1/4 cup here. Shake that to level it off, and put it in my bowl here. Okay. Now we're gonna add our vanilla. So for our vanilla, we need 1 teaspoon. Just go ahead and grab your 1 teaspoon. And then we're gonna put in our vanilla. Okay, so we are going to beat these together for about 2 minutes, and then we're gonna add the egg afterwards. So this is where you are gonna wanna keep your spatula handy because we are going to be scraping down the sides of the bowl every once in a while. So go ahead and start doing that now. So I'm just turning up my speed here. Okay, so I'm just gonna stop mixing for a second, grab my spatula, and I'm just going to scrape down the sides of my bowl here. Because you want to make sure that everything is fully incorporated. And continue mixing. Okay, I'm gonna scrape down the sides of the bowl one more time. and then continue mixing. Okay, so that's looking really nice and smooth there, as you can see. So now it's time to add our egg. So remember, I always crack my egg into a bowl first to make sure that I don't have any shells. So I got no shells. So again, that's just one egg that we're gonna put into our bowl. Now we're gonna continue beating, but we're only going to beat for another about 30 seconds. Okay, so now I'm gonna need you to grab the bowl that you put aside earlier with your flour mixture. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna add our flour mixture into this bowl. And we are going to beat it on low speed until it's combined. Okay. I'm just gonna tap my mixture on my counter here to get all the dough off. Perfect. So now we're done with the beaters, so you can actually put them aside for now. And then what I need you to do is grab a large spoon if you don't already have one in front of you. Okay, so now that we have all of our ingredients in our bowls here, what I need you to do is to grab your miniature muffin tins that you put aside earlier. So now we're actually just going to grab our dough here by the tablespoonful. You should be able to roll it up into a little ball, and you're just going to set it in your muffin tin like that. So I'm not filling it the whole way, and that's because when we add our peanut butter cups, they are going to really expand. And it basically, if you fill your little muffin tin with dough all the way to the top, you're gonna be left with a peanut butter cookie explosion. It's just going to spill completely over the tops here. So fill it about 3/4 of the way. And then what I'm doing is I'm just pressing down a little bit. So continue filling your muffin tins, and your ovens at this point should be preheated to 375. And then what we're gonna do is once you fill these completely, that one's a little bit too big. Okay, you are going to actually bake these cookies for about 8 minutes until the tops look a tiny bit underdone. So these cookies really firm up as they sit after you take them out of the oven. So I'd say for about 8 or 9 minutes, you're gonna put these in the oven. And then as soon as you take them out of the oven, you're going to place one of these peanut butter cups in the center. And then what it's gonna do is as the cookies cool, they're going to kind of melt nicely in the center of your cookie. And then you're gonna let your cookies sit in the pans for a bit before you remove them from the tins. So it's just a really great spin on the peanut butter cookie. So I'm gonna probably get about maybe 2 tins here of cookies. So it's gonna make probably about 2 dozen cookies. So again, don't fill them the whole way. Otherwise your cookies will be spilling over top of your pan when you press the peanut butter cup on the top. And don't worry, I will show you how to do that part in the video. Whoops. There we go. So just keep filling your cups here. That's a bit too much. And seriously, these cookies are so delicious. They are definitely on the sweet side, so it's difficult to have more than 2 at a time. They pair great with a glass of milk. Okay, so now that I have filled my tins up, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put them in the oven for, like I said, 8 minutes. And then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna show you how to press your peanut butter cups into your cookies. Okay, so go ahead and put your muffin tin cookies in the oven for 8 minutes, and then we will be right back. Okay, so it has been 8 minutes and my cookies have just come out of the oven. So what I've done is I've removed all of the wrapping from my peanut butter cups, so it is just the chocolate. So please make sure there's no wrapping left on your Reese's Pieces peanut butter cups. So immediately we're gonna take these and just in the center of our cookies, we are going to press down until our peanut butter cups are level with the top of our cookies. And you want to do this immediately as your cookies come out of the oven. Otherwise, your cookies will harden and you will not be able to press your peanut butter cups into the center of your cookies. So make sure you press them down so that they are about level with the top of your cookies. And what it will do is the warmth of the cookies will kind of melt the outsides of your peanut butter cups so that they stick really nicely with your cookie. Okay, so it's as simple as that. So now what you're gonna do is you're gonna let these cookies completely cool, I'd say for at least 20 minutes, and then you can remove them from the pan and let them cool on a cooling rack. So what I'll do is I'll post a picture of my final results once these are completely cooled and I've taken them out of the pan. So thank you so much for watching. I was really excited to share this recipe with you because it is such a great spin on just a regular peanut butter cookie. So I really hope that you enjoyed it, and please send me photos of your results and let me know what you thought of the recipe. Thank you so much for joining, and I'll see you next time.